My boyfriend bought concert tickets for him and his girl best friend. Hi, my boyfriend and I have been dating for almost 3 years. One of his favorite bands is coming in town next year, and with Christmas coming up, I decided to buy him and I tickets for the concert. I had a feeling he might have bought tickets already, so asked him if he has bought something for himself recently, and he said no. Today at date night, we were outside a restaurant talking, and I asked him again, and he again denied it. He opened his phone, and I saw one of his friends had texted him. Keep in mind, I don't like this friend. I asked him if I could see his phone, and he said yes. I went through their conversation and saw that he bought concert tickets for him and his girl best friend. This ruined date night, and now I'm crying feeling dumb. I already bought the tickets to surprise him on Christmas, but that's already ruined. What should I do? Top comments. Commenter. Dump your boyfriend. He's already dating someone else. Commenter. If you actually stay with him after this, tell him you bought him tickets for Christmas and give them to him. Up to him what he wants to do with them. Not your problem he wasn't honest with you. Don't buy him anything else. If you decide you deserve better than someone who lies and goes on a date with his girlfriend and not you, sell them and buy yourself something nice. I'd be seriously reconsidering the relationship though. It's odd he hadn't considered taking you to the concert and is taking her and doesn't bother to tell you about it. Big red flag I wouldn't ignore. Update 1. Before I tell y'all what happened, let me give you a backstory as to why I don't really like my boyfriend's girl best friend. My boyfriend and her have been friends since they were in middle school/high school. They became friends because she was dating my boyfriend's best friend at the time. Unfortunately, my boyfriend's best friend/her BF passed away, which led to them getting close. When my BF and I started talking, I actually met her and we all hung out together, and she was really nice and cool to be around. I even told my BF, hey, I really like your best friend. This all changed when my BF and I started dating officially. She would start blowing up his phone, but blowing up his phone. She would send him like 10 text messages in a row, would start calling him and leaving voicemails if he didn't pick up. At first I would think, okay, maybe it's an emergency or something, but no, all she wanted to do was to hang out with him alone, to go to bars with him, to get massages with her, for him to go over her apartment. I obviously started to get suspicious because not once did she consider to invite me knowing that my BF was taken. Obviously over time I started to get suspicion and jealous, and not because I'm insecure even though she is a pretty girl, but because I felt disrespected. Eventually I confronted my BF and told him if they ever had something going on or if he ever had any feelings towards her before, and he denied it, telling me he would never do that to his friend that passed away and that he only saw her as a sister. I told him he needs to talk to his friend and tell her that he is not single anymore and he isn't going to be free for her whenever she wants to. She needs to learn some boundaries. Obviously that did not sit right with her, and she still continued to do the same thing. My boyfriend has always been there for her whenever she needed something, but now that he is taken and can't be there, she gets upset. I won't make my boyfriend choose between his friend and me because I would hate to be put in that situation too. I trust him not to fuck up things, but if he ever does, then that's on him and his loss. He has distanced himself a bit from her for my sake, but he says that's still his friend at the end of the day. Now update about the concert. Yes, I did talk to my boyfriend about it. Some of y'all are saying why I didn't tell him that I was buying the tickets. Well, it was supposed to be a surprise. The whole point is not to tell him. No, I am not a die-hard fan of this band, but I do listen to their music here and there. Apparently his friend texted him about the concert and asking him if he could go with her, which he agreed. He bought the tickets for the both of them, and then she will pay him later for hers, that way the seats would be together. Now don't get me wrong, I still think it's fucked up that he didn't care to ask me if I wanted to go. He said he didn't know that I liked the band, if not he would have asked me. I did ask him why he kept saying no when I asked him if he had bought himself something recently, and he said it's because the concert is months from now, and he thought I was talking about something related to his fish tanks or his truck. He said he didn't expect me to buy concert tickets, and if he knew, he would have never bought them. Also, the only reason I went through their messages is because I saw that she texted him, let me know when you get the tickets. That's when it hit me, and that's why I asked to go through his phone so I could double confirm. After having a long talk, he did offer to go with me instead. I told him to talk to his friend and let her know ahead of time, that way she can find someone to go with her. I guess we will have to see what her reaction would be once she finds out he won't be going with her anymore. I feel like it was a big miscommunication on his part for not telling me. What do y'all think? Unanswered questions. We are both 24. The concert tickets are for Pierce the Veil. No, I did not make him choose between who he should go, he offered. I don't go through my BF's phone. I asked if I could see it because they mentioned concert tickets. I do believe a man and a woman can be friends. I have guy friends too, but I never once gave him a reason to not trust me. I have always included him in all my activities. Top comments. Commenter. I'm not going to be the person who said he's lying. I honestly think he's clueless. I would honestly wait to see if he tells her, then her response and how he responded to that. Like if she throws a fit about him going with you. So he says, fine, I'll tell my girlfriend I can't go with her, or something, just leave, he isn't worth it. But if he actually stands by you and says, no, I'm going with my girlfriend, you can find someone else to go with, we know he's being truthful. Commenter. Your boyfriend's friend is behaving that way because she wants him to be her boyfriend. Is your boyfriend aware that this girl obviously wants to date/sleep with him because she 100% does? The way she was blowing up his phone was because she was friend-zoned and was hoping he would see her as more than a friend eventually, but when you and he started dating, she spiraled and started trying to get him to pay more attention to her. She is trying to poach your boyfriend. You need to talk to him about this because she will eventually make a move on him and try to get him to cheat with her. Story 2. When I was 18, my mother took me to a fortune teller. 3 out of 7 prophecies of his already came true, plus 4-year update. Just a little background. I originally come from Ukraine, and I travel a lot all my life. I studied and lived in England from 12 until 21 years old, and now I'm working on Belgium. My mother knew this fortune teller, who was known to be diagnosed diseases just by holding your hand, as well as predict your future, at least key events. My mother was worried about my future since I had so many opportunities that she took me to see this guy. I had exams coming up, and it was a good way to both distract myself and learn something new. The guy made a total of 7 predictions. I will first mention the ones that happen and then rest that are yet to be. Just to let you know, this guy lives in a tiny village and never traveled outside of it. Nor does he have access to the internet. Anyway, here goes. I would get 82% in my exams. He guessed the exact percent. I was doing well in my studies at all, and I only started studying properly in the last months. He put his hand on my forehead and immediately said I shouldn't worry, as I will get 82%, which is what I need to get into a university I wanted. That came true, and I went Yale University. 2. I have problems with my liver. I was a very healthy kid and did a lot of sports semi-professionally. In my school at 18 years old, I was in a football, rowing, and tennis team. I barely drink and eat properly and had a very healthy body composition. After he said I have problems with my liver, we went to a doctor, and guess what? I had an enlarged and hardened liver. Doctors had no idea what caused it, and to make it normal, I had to do a special diet for 2 months. After that, it all went back to normal. 3. I would travel to Finland for work at 23 years old, but not before then. I had a business trip to Estonia and Finland last December. And guess what? I literally traveled to Finland the day before I turned 24. I had no control over booking the tickets or scheduling this business trip. My management sent me on this mission. I never been to Finland, nor any Nordic countries ever. 4. At 28, I will have 1,000 employees under my management. Hasn't happened yet. I am currently trying to work myself up to become a project manager, but still not sure if it's possible for this to happen. Right now I manage around 30 employees, so it's a big jump to 1K, but we will see. 5. In my entire life, I will travel to Russia only twice. Hasn't happened yet. Due to a political climate between Ukraine and Russia, I haven't traveled to Russia ever yet, although I do want to visit badly. 6. I will marry a blonde woman and will have 2 daughters. Hasn't happened yet. It was always a dream of mine to have daughters, not sons. I can't explain why, just always wanted to. I have mostly females in my family, loads of sisters, aunts and grandmas, so let's see. 7. I will move and live in Finland most of my life. Might happen soon. This is quite unbelievable. He said that when he concentrated on my future, he saw the word Suomi around me a lot. At the time, none of us knew what it was. He also said that I would live and probably die in Finland. When I came home and Googled what Suomi is, it turned out to be a language spoken in Finland. And as for working there, when I had a business trip, I made some connections with other colleagues who invited me for some potential working position. So I might end up moving there sooner rather than later. So that's that. He predicted a lot of things, like prostate cancer in early stage for my dad's friend, which saved his life, as well as healing my grandma's depression by one 15-minute talking session. I don't know if there is anything to this guy, but it's sure not just accidents. Update, 4 years later. Hi all. So around 4 years ago, I made a post on this sub about my visit to a fortune teller. You can find the post here. Since then, I receive dozens requests every year for an update, so I thought to provide one now. Like last time, just a little background. I originally come from Ukraine, and I travel a lot all my life. I studied and lived in England from 12 until 21 years old, and now I'm still working on Belgium. My mother knew this fortune teller, who was known to be diagnosed diseases just by holding your hand, as well as predict your future, at least key events. My mother was worried about my future since I had so many opportunities that she took me to see this guy. I had exams coming up, and it was a good way to both distract myself and learn something new. The guy made a total of 7 predictions. I will first mention the ones that happened, without going into details. You can find them in the original post, and then rest that are yet to be. Just to let you know, this guy lives in a tiny village and never traveled outside of it. Nor does he have access to the internet. Anyway, here goes. 1. I would get 82% in my exams. Happened. 2. I have problems with my liver. Happened. 3. I would travel to Finland for work at 23 years old, but not before then. Happened. 4. At 28, I will have 1,000 employees under my management. Not happened yet. So now I am 29, and I still do not have anywhere near this many employees under my management, lol. In fact, my career has taken quite a pivot and I should be transitioning to a public sector, big governmental job soon. This was a tough decision that took a lot of thought and effort, so who knows where this prediction went wrong. But I guess we can count this as not happened. 5. In my entire life, I will travel to Russia only twice. Not happened yet. Due to a political climate between Ukraine and Russia, I haven't traveled to Russia ever yet. I would like to one day, but who knows with the ongoing war. 6. I will marry a blonde woman and will have 2 daughters. Pretty much happened. So, long and behold, I married a blonde woman and have 1 daughter so far. We will definitely have more kids, and it will be interesting to see who the second one is. Smiling face with smiling eyes, but it's not like it matters. 7. I will move and live in Finland most of my life. Might happen soon again. Now here is the gist. This new job I was talking about, governmental one. I could choose between 2 countries to be stationed, and one of them was Finland. But, despite the prophecy, weighing in all factors, I decided to go with the other one. However, this governmental agency is highly proactive in Finland, and there is a very good chance I might end working there. I guess time will tell, but what a crazy coincidence. So that's that so far. I have not heard from him in these past 4 years, and I don't think my mom either. With the war, who knows where he ended up. But if I have any more updates, I will make sure to let you all know. Story 3. Am I the jerk for cutting off my sister and telling her she's no longer welcome in my house after threatening to sue me? So I, 26F, have a sister, 31F, let's call her Jane. Jane is not my bio sister, but we grew up in the same household. For as long as I can remember, Jane has had this victim mentality. Mom died when she was young. Dad was never in the picture, but my mom, her aunt/godmother, took her in. She lived with us for 13 years before she got married and moved to Idaho with her husband. We never had the best relationship growing up, but I assumed it was just sibling rivalry and we would grow out of it like me and my baby sister, 25F. My mom passed away in 2020 and Jane thought it was only right that she inherit my mom's engagement ring even after declaring at the funeral that my mom was not her mom, just a woman who helped raise her. I then moved back into my parents' home because I felt bad for my dad and didn't want him to be alone. After converting the top floor of our 3-story home into a mini apartment for myself, Jane raised concerns that there would be no space for her to come home to during Christmases. But we made do. My dad recently paid off the home and signed the deed over to me under the condition that he live there rent-free until he dies, since I had been helping him pay the mortgage and would continue to pay the taxes on the home. I dismantled the apartment on the 3rd floor, making it once again a 5-bedroom home. However, 2 of the bedrooms my sisters used to occupy are now a walk-in closet and a room for my dogs. I added a pool, a new bathroom, renovated the kitchen, and turned the basement into a bar lounge area. Once this was completed, Jane asked me how we would split the sale of the home. I was confused as to what she meant. I was not selling my home. She stated that since my dad paid it off, that when he died that house would go to all of us and we should just get ahead and sell the property now. I told her I was not selling and that my dad signed it over to me. She then said she would call someone to appraise the home and I would then have to buy her and my little sister out. When I told her again that I owned the home, I was not selling and she wasn't getting any money, she threatened to sue me. I told her to leave. A few weeks later, she called my dad to ask what the plans were for Christmas and if I was going to be staying in a hotel, since I could not be cordial. My dad told her I would not be staying in a hotel, but she was still welcome to come and stay with us. I politely informed him that she nor her family were welcome to stay, and if he needed to stay with her over the holidays, he could also stay in a hotel. Now she's called my whole family and gone on a campaign of how evil I am for doing this over the holidays. Most of my family agrees with her, except a few who do not want to be involved, saying that she only said she'd sue me out of anger after realizing something else was taken from her. Her mom, her dad, my mom, now her childhood home. Which leads me to believe that maybe they are right? Am I being too harsh on her after all her struggles in life? Or is she simply just a bitch? Edit. Little sis is fine, please stop worrying about her, she's not a problem, hence why I did not list everything she got from our mom or our dad. Update. Same post. Update. I suggested my dad stay in a hotel with Jane because he was insistent that she spend Christmas with him. I didn't say he couldn't live with me anymore. I don't think it's unreasonable to not want to be around someone who wanted to sue and may still try. I also got the engagement ring. I thought it was crazy that someone declared that's not my mom but wanted her ring that my dad bought. Also, little sis got the wedding bands. Dad also gave Jane significant amounts of money to open her own bakery. Little sis took over his business. I got the home, and the retirement and life insurance will be split in 3 if he passes, cause he can't die tbh. OP's comments. Commenter. Presumably she already inherited from both her bio parents, so why would she expect a share from her guardians as well? Let alone while one is still alive and living in the home, she wants to sell out from under him. She literally intended to turf Dad out of his home so she could profit after he lost his wife. She's a ghoul. OP. She did not inherit anything from her parents. My dad's side of the family has the money. It's my mom's side she's from. Commenter. Minor error your dad made. It was not ideal for your sister/cousin to have no idea that the childhood home was deeded to you. While this is reasonable, given the money you put into it and possibly also the time you've spent care of your aging dad, it would be better that this arrangement was known to all the kids and openly discussed. I can see why she was blindsided. But also horrible behavior your sister/cousin made. She wanted to sell your father's home while he's living in it? That's really appalling. What was your dad supposed to do? Is he very ill and expected not to live long? That wasn't clear from the post. This would be so stressful for him. Why couldn't she let him live and die peacefully in his home? OP, I do think that he told her, and she heard what she wanted to hear. And no, he's actually thriving. He just wanted to retire and not have to worry about bills or the house, so that's why he wanted to live there. He did say if my baby sister has a grandson for him, and he would move in with her. I think he just wanted to be stress-free. Commenter. How old is your dad? Does he have an ironclad will that neither Jane or your other sister would be able to contest? Is your name on the deed for the house? OP. He is 60, does have a will. Little sis won't do that, and yes, my name is on the deed. OP clarifies. Okay. Update/clarification. My dad is 60. He's not ill or going to die soon. God forbid. He already signed the house over to me. He just wants to live there so he doesn't have to stress about bills or anything. My sister was under the impression he paid it off, and we would sell it, split it in 4. And since I wanted to live there, I would be buying the house from my dad, but he just signed it over to me. Commenter. What's your younger sister think about the home being put in your name? She might have some reason to complain, but if she's okay, you're good as far as I can see. OP. Little sister does not care. She know when my dad dies, she will get something, and honestly, if I ever sold the house, I would give her some cash. LOL face with tears of joy. That's my best friend. To another commenter. My little sister is definitely okay with it. She knows what I have done for my dad since my mom passed. She didn't even want me to pay her if I was going to the home. Just wanted to make sure our dad was not stressed and not alone. More on the house/other siblings. My dad sees it that I put more money into that home than either of them, and if I continue the upkeep and pay the taxes on the home, while he does not have to stress, it evens out and only makes sense for me to have the home. Say he lived 20 more years. I would have been paying for the upkeep and the taxes for 24 years. Why would he not leave it to me regardless? Commenter. Do these idiots, other family, know she wanted you to sell the house out from under your dad? Where was he supposed to go? Did she want to push him off on an ice floe in the Arctic? OP. I do think she told them a different story, and her husband also painted me as a bad guy. OP adds. I will keep y'all updated at what happens during Christmas. We have a family wedding at the beginning of December. I'm sure there will be an update then. Update post 1. The family wedding was over the weekend, and everything there was great. No drama. I kept my distance from Jane. The bride was not outstaged at all. Well, not by me, and the drama at least. However, Sunday after the wedding, my Aunt Renee called me to ask if I would be coming to dinner to celebrate Christmas early since Jane was in town and would not be coming for the actual holiday. I politely declined, said I would send the children's gift with my dad, but there was no need to go and pretend that I was over Jane's behavior. My aunt then said, I would be upset too if you refused to give me my share, but gave little sis her share. That really shows a divide. I asked her to said that again because I think I hallucinated. Jane really has been out here saying I split the house with my little sister when I did not. I explained to my aunt what actually happened, and then my dad confirmed the information I gave. My aunt was shocked. Not only had Jane lied to her and the whole family, she also lied and said my dad never gave her anything. He gave me the house, my little sister his business, and Jane a lump sum of money to start her bakery since she had no interest in running the family business. Jane is currently staying with Aunt Renee, but Renee is now upset and feels duped into this whole mess. Renee and my dad are both upset with Jane, but still believe that I should forgive and forget and move forward. Renee is going to talk to Jane tomorrow before she leaves to go back to Idaho, but I'm not sure it will do anything. Not a great/entertaining update, but I guess I felt compelled to finish the story. At this point, though I don't care if I'm the AH, I was surprised by the amount of comments saying I was. But I don't need any more stress from these people. OP's comment. Commenter. Who TF said you were the AH? Your sister is the only AH here. Protect your dad. OP. I guess because I told my dad that if she wanted to stay in my home, she could get a hotel, and he could go with her face with tears of joy.